What's good, Sooner Nation? We got a lot of stuff to cover. Over the last couple of days, we've had some pretty cool news. You've got former defensive coordinator getting himself a new job in the Big 12, so he's staying where we're leaving. We've got some performances from some of our top players at the Polynesian Bowl from this recent 24-karat gold class. And the Sooners were rated to have the hardest schedule in college football. Well, not the hardest, but one of. So we're going to dive into that. Let's look at that schedule and kind of understand because, as Brent Venable says,
okay, when we stay inside out, we're not going to listen to all the noise, okay? When people are doubting us, I told you, everybody that ain't a Sooner is holding their breath, waiting for Oklahoma to collapse, right, to fall on our face.
But before we do that, welcome to Unfair Sports. I'm your host, Jay. Thank y'all for pulling up to the channel. We appreciate the love and support we always get. Please hit that like button if you like this content. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. Love for you to join this family of college football fans. Talk a lot of OU football and college football in general. Having a blast, do it. And those likes really help your boy out in building this platform. We're on a goal for 14,000 subs, hopefully 15 by the end of the summer and 20 by the end of the year. But let's move on into some of the news that's going on around college football. So grab a seat, grab yourself your favorite drink, grab a snack. Let's talk about it. So first off, we saw that, as you can see here, 247 put out who they believe had the toughest schedule going into next season. And I thought it was extremely fascinating to see that, Oklahoma was listed on there because, the schedule's kind of tough, right? Between us, between Florida, between Arkansas, it's really a whole bunch of SEC schools if you really look at this. I mean, you've got 6 teams from the SEC leading the top 10 in toughest schedule. And, of course, that tells you something. The SEC just means more. But, in this write-up, what I thought was pretty fascinating is Oklahoma is going to potentially be playing against 5 teams in the top 25 at minimum after playing against Tennessee, which could be 6 total top 25 teams. Right now, it's 6 in the way too early. And when I went through this schedule, of course, we talked about this before, but when I really looked at it in detail, I'm not as nervous as a lot of people are. Now, granted, Texas' schedule is pretty much a lot simpler. They've got the Vanderbilts of the world. They're dealing with Florida, who's not, who's still trying to figure out their way, right? I mean, they got Georgia, which is their toughie, but, you go through the rest of the games of Mississippi State with a new coach. They're still trying to find their way. Arkansas, they had an up and down season. So you've got so many games in there that really makes, things a little bit more beneficial for Texas. But to me, I'm not really that nervous about the schedule, right? I know Tennessee is going to be a factor, but they lost a lot of players going into the draft and transfer portal. And so they're trying to rebuild. They're trying to recoup and redo their team while having Nico out there at the starting quarterback. So they have a new young quarterback and they'll have a bunch of players out. Auburn is still, they fired an offensive coordinator every year for like the last, 5 years. So they've just seen nothing but change constantly. The question is will they have a quarterback and quarterback play that Hugh Freeze can leverage to be good? But it is tough traveling to Auburn, traveling to Ole Miss, who has loaded up in the transfer portal, but we've yet to see it proven to be successful. Good thing for Ole Miss, though, is they're bringing back Jackson Darts. They have a seasoned quarterback that will be returning, and then something that has familiarity there. They did lose their running back in Judkins, which is, to me, a pretty massive loss. And in South Carolina, losing their quarterback, they're starting from scratch. The tough ones, of course, are going to be going to Missouri, which luckily is after playing Maine, so you kind of get a quote-unquote bye week. Then you got Bama and LSU after another bye week. And so Oklahoma does have probably one of the tougher schedules out there, but it does not scare me like it does everybody else. I think that this is a winnable schedule. I think that this is a 10-win opportunity. The biggest question that we've all had about Oklahoma has been the offensive line because we're not returning a whole bunch of starters. We're actually losing starters. They're all graduating, going pro, and one of them decided to transfer and go back closer to home. But we've got guys that have rotated in. Sexton is probably the one, and I'm going to talk about this in another video as we talk deeper and diving into the offensive line, but you got to remember, Sexton started in the Cheez-It Bowl, and He played a lot his freshman year, and unfortunately, because he got hurt in that bowl game, he missed the first 7 games of the season. I had an argument on the X-Bird with somebody about that. I'm just like, he said he missed 7 games. Yeah, but do you know why? The context always matters. And that's the one thing I'm going to try my hardest to make sure I always provide you all. That's the thing that's a pet peeve of mine, is that context is left out of a lot of conversations. Sexton didn't play the first 7 games of the season because he was recovering from an ACL tear. When he got back in, Tyler Guyton went down. He went in and played and replaced him. He didn't get to give the job up from there. It's a combination of there's no point in playing Guyton because he's going pro, and we weren't playing in the playoffs, so you may as well let him make sure his body's ready for that first-round draft pick grade he's going to get. But at the same time, Sexton can play. He's good. He's going to be a really good left tackle for our team. He's going to be really good for Jackson Arnold's blind side. And we're retooling. We're adding players in the portal. Don't worry. There's somebody coming down the line, a couple coming down the line. Springtime is probably when we'll see more players hitting the team in the portal. But my point is, I don't think the schedule is as much of a gauntlet as others are making it. I think we'll be fine. Hop in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. Love to hear from you on that. Let's talk about our ODC. So Ted Roof takes the job at UCF. And so he is now their defensive coordinator, following his boy Gus Malzohn over there to that team. So what's crazy is Ted Roof actually worked with Gus back in the day. They were both on the staff for Auburn from 2009 to 11, especially that 11 team that won the national championship. So Ted Roof was defensive coordinator of a national championship winning team in college football. Pretty surprising, right? He's defensive coordinator. We've all gone after him and had our complaints about his ability and what he's done, but he was part of that Auburn team and won the title. Gus Malzohn was the offensive coordinator. And so they now reunite at UCF. As y'all know, Ted Roof and Coach Brent Venables in Oklahoma had mutually part ways as Oklahoma decided to go a different direction, and Ted Roof decided that he wanted to continue to coach. And so now he's got himself and found him a home, baby. Pretty excited for him. He's staying in the Big 12, so he'll be over there with Lee Davis. And, it's good for him. I think that we should applaud him. He did well here. He helped turn things around in Oklahoma. Some of the best defenses we've had here in the last 6 years, actually since the Bob Stoops era ended. Technically up until since the Brent Venables era ended. But the defenses did get better, so you can't complain about that. And so now we need to see if we can get another leap. So shout out to Ted Roof. We're excited that he got the job there at UCF, and he can go do his thing with his boy, Gus Malzohn, get a few more years of coaching in, and make the magic happen. And so, but I want to talk about this, though. I want to talk about this Polynesian Bowl. You got the Alpha Dog. You got David Stone as well as Jayden Jackson over there in Hawaii right now playing in the Polynesian Bowl. Like I said, that game will be played at 9 p.m. Central Time. That is 4 p.m. Hawaiian time. And they're going to be out there, getting their ball on. And the cool thing about it is both of them are there together. They're both early enrollees. And so instead of being in classes this week, they're at the bowl. They'll be back home next week to come ball out. But David Stone went out there, showed out first couple days, saw a report that he had tweaked his ankle a little bit, so it looked like he was a little bit little banged up or whatnot, but then day 3 showed up, right? Day 3, they had their scorings and everything. And so here's the top 10 guys. Top 10 on this list. You saw Booker Pickett Jr., you see Christian Dillon. Hey, look, there's Jayden Jackson on this list, right? Jayden Jackson made it on there. But then as you see the 10 right there in the middle, you got your Alpha Dog. Your Alpha Dog is David Stone, meaning he's the top dude. They're at the Polynesian Bowl, in the workouts, in the practice. So y'all been asking, is Oklahoma going to get some elite players coming in? Obviously, this freshman class, this 2024 karat gold class, is probably one of the best classes we've seen in a long time. They balling out. Don't let the top 10 fool you. The players that we have, you're going to see some hidden gems in this one that's going to show out. David Stone's not a hidden gem because he's a 5-star plus. He's supposed to be this great. But this dude was out there manning people. So you can see in the film, he in there tossing dudes, getting around and moving. And it's fun because you get to see him in action. That motor's there. He's got the strength. His contemporaries, people at his age, they can't hold that man down. That's how good of an athlete he is. And we know that coming in to Oklahoma, we have high expectations for Stoney. Exactly, right? The highest expectation of anybody coming in. Stoney has the highest because he's the highest rated dude. But him and Jayden Jackson together, are going to be nasty. I mean, we've already seen Stoney mention that this is one dude that he wants to play next to. If there's anybody that he would line up, it's Jackson, and that's why Jayden Jackson is coming to Oklahoma with him. And Jayden's going to be a beast, man. I've reports are they looking good in practice. And this Polynesian Bowl, all them reports are saying they're out there cooking them boys. And these are their counterparts, their colleagues, ones of their age. So now we got to see what they look like when the game speeds up at the collegiate level. They play against guys with a little bit more experience. I ain't got no concern because I'm going to be honest. I think these two are going to find a way on the field and unfortunately supplant some other players on the team if they keep playing the way they are. Stoney going to be nasty. As you can see in that video, man, he looks like something. And I think Jayden Jackson's going to be special too. And so Oklahoma's got a couple of dogs coming in on the defensive line that y'all been asking for. So y'all ain't got to worry about it. They here and they going to definitely do it. So Polynesian Bowl is going to be at, like I said, it's going to be tonight, 4 p.m. Hawaiian time, which is 9 p.m. Central on NFL Network. Make sure you check it out. Support the boys. Watch them. I promise you, you're probably going to see both of them make some headlines just because of how good they are. But that's both of those. Hop in the comments. Let your boy know what your thoughts. Give a shout out. Tell Ted Roof thank you. Tell him thank you for coming. He's helping Venables to get everything set up. We appreciate your time and everything. And of course, got to jump in those comments. Show some love. David Stone, Jayden Jackson, there at the Polynesian Bowl, how they going to show out, especially Stone out here just manhandling. Good God. The people love him. It's funny because, the joke is the politics over there on 3, they don't like him, so he's rated real low. But then he goes out here and he punks all the people that's rated higher on they own 3 poll, right? So I don't know how that feels, but let me know your thoughts, man. Y'all think Stoney's going to vie for some starting time? Y'all think that he can fight his way to a starting lineup? It's kind of hard as a freshman to be able to do this, especially a defensive tackle, because you got to be big. And Stoney's big enough, but he's still got some additional weight he's going to have to put on really to really dominate. But yeah, tell me what y'all think. Love to hear from you. Hop in the comments. Let your boy know your thoughts. If you made it this far, you like the content, hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Love for you to join this family of college football fans. Talking a lot of OU football, but we're mixing some college football in general. Having a blast to do it. The Unfair Sports Podcast is going to come back soon. I promise. I've got a plan for February. We're going to make the magic happen. So, YouTube said check out one of these videos. I highly recommend it. Curated for you. We'll talk transfer portal and stuff this weekend. We're anticipating some potential good news. We'll dive into all of that at that point. Besides that, we'll chop it up soon. Peace.